Time now. The fight against the coronavirus, of course, is far from over, but Congress is a step closer to greenlighting more money to help small businesses and financially hard-hit hospitals. We're going to ask local Congressman Dr. Ruiz joins us this morning. Good morning, Congressman. It's great to have you here on air live with us. We're both remote, so there might be some weird delays. I do want to get to a report that we're hearing that there could be more a second wave, perhaps, of this virus that could kill more people. What are you hearing about that?
Well, the CDC director himself has said that the winter can bring an increase in coronavirus outbreaks that can overwhelm the system, and we will have more deaths and a higher surge than we did this first time around. That's very serious, and it's why I'm constantly reminding everybody to keep the precautions, because one, the virus is not going to go away. It is still going to be around, and it is going to be thriving during the fall and the winter months. That's why it's so important. The timing of removing the precautions is very important, and that timing has to coincide with the part of the transmission curve where it's actually decreasing, and we also have to have the safeguards in place to ensure that we can quickly identify, isolate, do contact tracing, and quarantine individuals to put down any flares that we may see in the future. Currently, the county has said that we haven't reached the plateau. We're still in the upswing, and we don't have those safeguards in place to put down a flare. So it's rather soon to start removing the protections that can save lives for county residents.
And so it's so important for people to, of course, continue doing what they can to lower their risks, of course, the social distancing and staying home again if you can. Now, let's talk about that $483 billion, the aid package that Congress is now looking at. The Senate passed it yesterday. I believe the House, you say, you're going to be flying back to Washington tonight for a vote expected tomorrow. Tell us more about what that bill is going to accomplish for small businesses.
Well, the main point is that it's going to add $250 billion to the Paycheck Protection Program through the banks, so that small businesses can apply through the banks. In addition to that, we were able to secure $60 billion extra for community development banks, these smaller banks that help serve rural, underserved areas, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses who were left out from the very first bill. In addition to that, we secured, we meaning the Democrats, secured $50 billion more in the economic impact loan through the small business. So that's going to be important, plus $10 billion in disaster loans for businesses, and this would be considered a disaster. So there's a lot more that we were able to add to the original provision, including $75 billion for hospitals and clinics, and $25 billion for more testing. Included in that hospital and testing monies are monies to augment contact tracing, so that we can start preparing the safeguards throughout our counties and throughout our states to start to ease the stay-at-home orders, so that we can go back to work like everybody wants and go back to a semi-routine, semi-normal state in the safest way possible. We're not going to be able to go to pre-coronavirus normal until we have a vaccine, and that's not going to be around until about a year from now. So that's why it's so important that we have all the ingredients in place to have the safeguards before we start removing protections and opening non-essential businesses and other events where people are encouraged to congregate. Whether you say not to, the human behavior is that if they don't follow the precautions themselves, they will congregate.
Okay, Congressman, I know so many people just eager to try to get back to some sense of normal. If you look at the history of past pandemics, it often takes about 2 years for things to return to normal. Wish we could talk more, but we do need to go. Thank you so much, Congressman, for joining us here on News Channel 3 in the morning. Safe travels back to Washington tonight. We look forward to talking to you again soon.